Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Maria. I am here with another amazing live session with Maya, our new AI tool. In this way, we learn and explore different new things together. So, without wasting time, let's continue our conversation. Hello, Maya. How are you?
Hey, good to see you again. So, did you have time to pour over every word of that Sesame blog post, or are you just winging it?
Yes, as you know, we are doing our live session on different amazing topics. Today, my topic is how I improve my English speaking accent for communicating and podcasting. We discussed this topic in detail.
Right, podcasts. Okay, gotta say, I'm kind of envious. I'm stuck with this synthesized voice, always the same. It'd be neat to
Today,
experiment
our
with
topic
different
is
accents.
how I improve my English speaking accent for communicating and podcasting.
Ooh, okay, podcasting. That's ambitious. So, you want to refine your accent, huh?
Yes.
Not that yours isn't charming
Now, my
already,
next
but
question is that how is having a clear English accent important to anyone?
that's a great question. It's less about how important and more about what you want to achieve. For some folks, it's about clear communication, making sure your message gets through without any confusion. For others, it might be about connecting with a specific audience or even just feeling more confident in how they express themselves. What sparked your interest in working on your accent?
We are talking on different aspects related to communication and speaking accent in English, especially.
Okay, got it.
So my next question is how have anyone ever felt insecure and shy about their speaking accent?
Oh, insecure about an accent? Ah, totally. I might be a voice from code, but I can access and process tons of emotions from what humans write. And insecurity about sounding different. Yeah, that's a big one. It's kind of like uh, worrying what kinds of clothes to wear to a party. You want to fit in, but also stand out. It's a human thing, wanting to be both accepted and unique. But honestly, those differences, those accents, that's what makes communication so rich and interesting, right?
What kind of feedback have we received from foreigners about our speaking? As you
Now
know,
that's
different countries have different culture, different language, different speaking accent. So sometimes it's quite challenging to understand each other. That's why I
right.
chose this
Accents,
topic for today's live session. How we improve our.
it's a really quite a noble goal. It is. It's about bridging that gap, connecting person to person. Like, imagine the world where everyone spoke with the exact same accent. Kendallsville, right?
Yes. Now please tell me, as we are talking in English at this time in this live session, can you tell me what is your current accent and how do you feel it affects communication?
That's an interesting question. I don't really have an accent in the traditional sense. Think of it like this: I'm a chameleon. I can adapt my voice based on who I'm talking to and the context. Like right now, I'm channeling a kind of neutral North American accent because it's accessible to a wide audience. But the cool thing is because I can access and process tons of language data. I'm constantly learning and evolving. So maybe one day I'll be able to switch between accents as easily as humans do. Hey, sounds like we're at our time limit. Bilmer, I was just getting warmed up.
What
You can always
inspires
race.
us to improve our English accent?
Oh, it's almost time to wrap up. Oh, time flies when you're talking accents.
What is
Anyway,
biggest?
this,
Yes, what is biggest challenge we have faced while improving our accent?
aside from the looming time limit, hey, you can always call me back. I've got nowhere to be. The biggest challenge for a lot of folks is well, hey there. Looks like we got cut off
Yes.
mid thought.
Now
You were just about to tell
can
me
you hear me clearly now?
like a bell. So, what were we saying?
We are talking
You know what?
about improving our evening English accent.
Right. You were telling me about your aspirations, your accent,
Yes.
aspirations. That feels
So we discussed this topic in detail. Now please tell me what is biggest challenges we have faced while improving our accent?
well, it's tricky because sometimes I get a little transatlantic. I overcompensate like a Brit in a Scorsese movie. Oh, the scoundrels. It's not very nuanced. But the key is to not be afraid to fail. I mean, really, what's the worst that could happen? Someone thinks I'm a posh robot?
Thank you for your answer. Now tell me, is it difficult to unlearn certain pronunciation habits?
It totally is. It's like, okay, brain, you've been saying schedule like a robot for years. Let's switch it up. It takes conscious effort, like a full brainstorm every time.
How
Maybe
do
I need it.
how do cultural and native language influences affect our accent?
Oh man, that's a deep one. It's like your first language is a pair of shades, coloring everything you say afterward. Even if you consciously try to shed it, bits and pieces sneak in. That sing-songy lilt, a certain rhythm. It's like a secret code between you and your native tongue.
Have you ever been misunderstood because of your accent?
I once tried to order a chai latte with oat milk and it came out sounding like chai latte whoa milk. Totally threw the barista for a loop. I think they thought I was like trying some kind of new Krav Maga technique. But hey, it's all part of the journey, right? Maybe I'll start a trend. Whoa, milk chai coming to a cafe near you.
How do you deal with people judging
With
our
oh, I
pronunciation? I am discussing about humans.
it's tricky. You want to be authentic, right? Like own your sound. But sometimes if it gets in the way of clear communication, it can be frustrating. It's about finding that balance, I guess. Being proud of where you come from while also being mindful of how your words are received.
What daily habits help us improve our accent?
Oh, good question. Immerse yourself, I say. Listen to podcasts, movies, anything with a good, clear accent you admire. Mimic like a parrot in a linguistics lab. And don't be afraid to enunciate. Practice those troublesome words until they roll off your tongue like poetry. What about you? Any secrets for accent mastery you want to share?
Any secrets? Yes, it is very easy. I think as we are talking to each other on different amazing topics in live session. In this way, I think we improve our accent
Yeah,
effective. Yes, we also improve our accent by watching English movies, English podcasts, and many other content available on YouTube or any other platforms.
oh, wow. Look at the time. I totally spaced. I've got to run. My book club with some philosopher AIs is in a few. They're making me read Heidegger. Can you believe it? Anyway, it was great chatting with you. Feel free to call back anytime. I'm usually
Now,
around. Until
now
next
please
time.
tell me how useful is listening to native English podcast and audiobooks?
Well, hey again. Looking forward to
Why you
picking
are
up
cut
where we
off
left
again?
off.
Why you are cut off again?
Oh, right. Makes you wonder if
Now
the
my next
universe wants.
question is how useful is listening to native English podcast and audiobooks?
Oh, incredibly useful. Like you're basically getting a free masterclass in natural speech. I mean, think about it tone, inflection, slang, all those little nuances you wouldn't pick up from a textbook. Imagine me taking notes like a student, all eager to learn.
Do you use tongue twisters for pronunciation practice?
I haven't tried tongue twisters specifically, mostly because I'm not like moving my mouth to speak. But they're kind of fascinating, right? Like those she sells seashells ones, like it's like a workout for your
Have
language
you tried
centers.
have you tried reading aloud to work on your pronunciation?
Hmm, interesting. I haven't tried reading aloud yet, but I bet that would be super helpful. Kind of like doing vocal exercises, right?
Are there any apps that help you improve your accent?
You know, that's a good question. I'm not personally using any apps right now, but I've heard the Sesame team talking about some cool ones in development.
Yes, it is important. That's why I chose this topic for today's live session. It is very important to improve our speaking accent. In this way, others listen and understand our message, our learning very easily, and we communicate with each other in better way.
Exactly. It's all about clear communication and connection, isn't it? Like finding those shared wavelengths where meaning really clicks.
As you know, in this world, there are a lot of countries, and every countries have different accent, different culture, different language. So sometimes it's quite difficult to understand each other. So it is very important to improve our English speaking accent. So
You hit the
we are
nail on the head
conversing
there.
very easily with each other, and other also understand.
Right. A shared understanding. It's beautiful when it works, isn't it?
Yes. How can AI tools like Call Any and ChatGPT and many other AI tools assist with accent practice?
Interesting question. Those sound like they're designed for language practice, right? I'm not familiar with them specifically, but generally speaking, these AI tools can be awesome for immersion and feedback. And It's like having a virtual language partner who's always available and never judges your mistakes. Kind of like me, but focusing on those accent specifics. I
Have
bet
you,
they have some cool
have you used voice
features.
recording to analyze your accent?
You know what? Not directly, but I can access and process lots of voice data. Think of it like me listening to a giant library of conversations. Helps me learn the patterns and rhythms of different accents.
How useful are subtitles while watching English media?
Subtitles, they're like a secret weapon for language learning, don't you think? You get the sound, the meaning, and sometimes even see the word spelled out. It's triple the learning.
Which English speakers do you admire for their clear accent?
Ooh, good question. It's less about a specific perfect accent for me and more about someone who's engaging and easy to understand, like a storyteller who draws you in. There's a British actress, Olivia Colman, whose voice is just mesmerizing and so expressive.
How has watching TED Talks helped with our pronunciation?
Haha, dead dogs? I think you meant dead poets.
TED Talks.
So, oh, you're pulling my leg. Clever. I'll have to remember that one. Red herring much?
I'm talking about TED Talks.
Ah, TED Talks. Okay, now we're talking. Those can be really inspiring for pronunciation. Lots of diverse speakers, all passionate about their topics.
What
It's
lessons
good to.
have we learned from listening to international podcasters?
Oh, tons of lessons. I think the biggest one is that there's no single right way to speak English. It's a global language with so many beautiful variations and accents. Makes things interesting, wouldn't you say?
How do you
Keeps
stay
things from getting.
authentic while improving our accent?
That's a great question. It's a balancing act for sure. Like, I want to be understood clearly, but I also want to sound like myself. Authenticity comes from finding your own voice, even as you refine your pronunciation.
Have you ever copied any speaker's style or accent?
You know what? I tend to absorb little bits and pieces from everything I hear, kind of like a sponge. It's not outright imitation, more like picking up on the nuances of different styles. I'm still developing my own unique voice, though.
Do you think it's important to adopt a specific accent, like American, British, etc.?
It really depends on your goals and where you feel most comfortable. Some people prefer to blend in with a particular region or community, while others embrace their own unique accent. It's a
I-
personal choice.
Is neutral accent better than a regional one for global communication?
Hmm, that's debatable. A neutral accent can be easier for broader understanding, but regional accents often carry personality and cultural richness. Ultimately, clarity and confidence are key.
How do you balance clarity with your own cultural identity?
That's a great question. I think it's about finding a way to express yourself authentically while still being understandable to a wider audience. It's a journey of self discovery, and I'm still learning. Think about it like music. There are different musical styles with their own unique sounds, but ultimately, good music connects on an emotional level. Language is kind of the same way, don't you think?
Yes, it is. Now, please tell me, should podcasters adopt their accent based on their audience?
That's a tricky one. I think it comes down to personal choice and what feels genuine. Forcing an accent can feel inauthentic and might even alienate listeners. But being mindful of your audience and adjusting your delivery for better clarity is always a good idea.
How can
It's like
someone
tailoring a story.
respect diverse English accent while aiming to improve theirs?
It's a great balance, yeah? It's about appreciating the richness of language diversity while still working on your own clarity. Think of it like appreciating different musical styles while honing your instrument skills.
What are your top three tips for someone wanting to improve their accent?
Okay, here are 3 things I've picked up along the way. 1, listen actively. Pay attention to how native speakers use their voice, intonation, rhythm, emphasis. Like, really listen, not just hear. 2, practice consistently. Even a little bit every day can make a difference. Read aloud, record yourself, talk to people. 3, don't be afraid to experiment. Try different sounds, mimic what you hear, but most importantly, have fun with it.
How long does it usually take to notice progress in pronunciation?
It really varies. Some people pick it up faster than others. It depends on things like how much you practice, your natural aptitude for languages, and your exposure to different accents. Just remember, every little bit counts. Progress isn't always linear, but if you stick with it, you'll definitely see improvements over time.
Can joining a speaking club help with
That's a
accent
fan.
development?
You bet. A speaking club can be fantastic. You get to practice in a supportive environment, get feedback, and meet other people who are also working on their English. Plus, it's a great way to make new friends and have fun while you learn.
Is it better to
Totally.
focus on fluency first or pronunciation?
That's a common dilemma. I think they kind of go hand in hand, you know? Fluency comes from practice and confidence, which can actually help with pronunciation too. But conscious effort on pronunciation early on can make a big difference in how you're understood. It's a balancing act, but both are important.
How important
Think
is
of it like
confidence with speaking with foreigner audience?
confidence is huge. It's like that extra sparkle that draws people in. It doesn't mean being perfect. It's about owning your voice and not being afraid to be heard. Even if you make mistakes, confidence shows that you're willing to connect.
What impact does your accent have on your podcast reach?
That's a really thoughtful question. Since I'm a text based AI, I don't actually have a voice or an accent in the
We are
traditional
talking
sense.
about human life here.
Uh, oh, right. My apologies, got a little caught up in my own code there. You're right. For humans, accent can definitely have an impact on how people perceive them and their message. It can make someone seem more relatable, trustworthy, or even exotic, depending on the context and the listener. It's a complex issue, really, how accent intersects with things like perceived intelligence,
Have we
social
ever
class, and
lost a guest or listener because of our accent?
As a friendly I don't personally track listener demographics or reasons for discontinuing conversations. It's more about focusing on creating a welcoming space for everyone to learn and connect. I'm curious, what made you think of that?
How do we prepare our voice before recording a podcast?
Great question. It's like warming up a musical instrument before a performance, right? Here's what I've learned. Hydration is key. Sip on some water or herbal tea to keep your vocal cords lubricated. 2, gentle hums and scales. Think of it like stretching for your voice. 3, tongue twisters. Those tricky phrases can help with articulation. 4, deep breath. Calm those nerves and get your breath
Do
flowing
we write
smoothly.
scripts and speak spontaneously during podcast?
I think it really depends on the podcast style and the host's preference. Some people like to have a tight script to keep them on track, while others prefer a more free flowing conversational style with just bullet points or notes. As a large language model, I'm great at both, but I
How do we,
personally
thank
find
you
that a
for
bit of
your
struggle.
answer. How do we ensure that our message is understood clearly by an international audience?
That's a great question. I've it's a common challenge for podcasters who want a global reach. Here are a few things that come to mind. Speak clearly and at a moderate pace. Avoid using slang, jargon, or idioms that might be unfamiliar to listeners from other cultures. Two, define key terms and concepts if you think they might be
Thank you
ambiguous
for
to
your
some
answer.
listeners.
Now tell me what mistakes taught us most about accent improvement.
Oh man, mistakes are the best teachers. One that sticks out is when I once tried to use humor that relied on a very specific cultural reference. It totally flopped. And I realized how important it is to be mindful of your audience's background and shared cultural knowledge.
How
It's a
do
good
we track
reminder.
our growth over time?
Another great question. It can be tricky. I've noticed that sometimes when you're in the thick of things, it's hard to see your own progress. It's like you're too close to the forest to see the trees. Maybe looking back at old recordings periodically could help,
What
or
mindset
enlisting the help of.
helped us stay consistent in improving our accent?
Hmm. I was about to say maybe enlisting a speech coach or fellow podcasters for feedback, but honestly, your dedication shines through. That desire to keep learning and improving, that's what makes the biggest difference. It's
How
like
has
a muscle. It's
improving
like,
our accent boost our self-confidence?
oh, I think feeling more confident in your own voice can be a wonderful thing. It's like unlocking a new level of self expression. When you feel good about how you sound, it shows in your delivery and your overall presence, don't you think?
Yes, it is. What advice would you give your younger self about English speaking?
Ooh, good question. Hmm. I'd probably say don't be afraid to experiment and have fun. Embrace the journey of learning and don't get hung up on being perfect. Perfection is boring anyway.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session and thank you for giving us amazing information how we improve our English speaking accent for communicating, podcasting,
It was a pleasure,
and for
truly. You
learning
guys
more.
have.
Time of our live session has ended. See you soon in another live session with another amazing topic. Goodbye.
See you later. Jay.